Hi everybody, welcome back to part 5 of my little mini-series for One Book July, doing Mind the Gap, which is filling in the gaps in my January to June Traveller's Notebook Weekly Vertical Diary. So you can see by the pages at the end here, I have done photo spaces, background paint, and in the last video I made a very poor attempt at doing a little bit of extra journaling in some of the gaps. Today we're going to be looking at date stickers, so you can see I'm pointing at the top there to show that I didn't have any date stickers for the last few pages in this book. Previously I did things like painted them in, and you can see here that I obviously forgot to do the numbers towards the end of May, I think that is. So yeah, quite a few painted dates along the top. I also did, I think I did some stickers. I'm just flipping back to show you now. These are some date stickers that I designed back at the beginning of the year. These ones are actually from a few years ago. Essentially, I started off doing stickers and then I ran out of my date stickers and I hadn't designed any more ones. So I started just painting them in. I much prefer the look of the designed stickers, so I think going forward I am going to do more sticker date designs. So the first thing I'm going to do is sort of finish off these dates from May. So I didn't actually bother to do the last 5 dates in May with the numbers. So that's sort of an easy start for me, an easy win. I think I just checked on my paint palette and I couldn't find that very dark indigo blue paint on there. It's already been mixed up with a load of other things. So I decide, rather than continuing with the paintbrush, to use one of my new toys, which is a Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayon. So I mentioned these in a previous video because I know I've got an indigo colour, which is this one here. I think it's called indigo blue or blue indigo or something like that. And because these are activated with water, I can get exactly the same look on these dates as with paint. Not that it matters, you don't have to do everything exactly the same, but I wanted to try it and see what it looked like when I did it like this. So I'm just going to roughly pencil in, crayon in the dates, and then go over it with a paintbrush. I would like to recommend some people that design date stickers. I don't know a huge amount. I do find that if you go on Etsy and you look up date sticker printables, you do get a lot of very, very generic stuff. And when I say generic, I suppose I just mean fairly simple, basic, graphically designed stuff. And if that is your bag, then go for it, that's absolutely fine. But I do prefer the slightly more sort of illustrated, obviously done by hand or created by, let's just say, I'm trying to be polite here, created by an individual being creative date stickers. So I only know there must be more, so please, please, please use the comment space down below to write down or suggest anybody that you know that's designing date stickers and sharing them. But the only ones I know of are Erin Ware, I think, Little Raven Ink, I think she goes by, and Jenna Templeton. Those are the only ones I've used before in the past, printing out their date stickers and using them in my diaries and things like that. If you know anybody else, please do add them in the comments below, because we could all benefit from being able to find original creators rather than just having to wade through. I get frustrated with Etsy. There's just so much stuff on there now that looks like it's just duplications of everything else and stolen artwork, and now they're going to do AI on there. It's just, it's not handcrafted anymore. It's laughable. You watch the adverts and it's all like, oh, handmade, hand this, and you have to try so hard to find anything that's actually originally handmade on there. It's just exhausting, and I don't have hours of my life to devote to it, unfortunately. So yeah, I think probably what we need to do is just within the planner community share who is making what and who is doing what, and find people individually, I would imagine. Anyway, that was my opinion on date stickers. So rather than just leaving them plain, which actually looking back at the footage, it would have been very nice just to leave them like that, and I don't know why I did this next step in hindsight, I decided I'd try and fill in the gaps around the numbers, and rather than using the crayons, I think I decided to go for Derwent Inktense pencils, which were gifted to me by a very lovely friend. And these are also water activated, so you can draw with them and then get the water brush out and turn them into little watercolour bits. So I decided to do dots, and I'm looking at the page and picking out a colour that's on the page in a small amount and then bringing that colour in. So I've chosen the sort of purpley pink from the June 2024 sticker on the right. It's the weirdest thing about filming videos when you're doing artwork, is that when you come back to watch it, you often see your sort of like creative work through different stages, from the beginning through to the end. And so many times I do this and I think, oh, I should have just stopped then. Oh, I should just stop then. It looks so much nicer then. And then, but actually, not as a way of like regret and feeling like, oh, I should have done it differently. But it is interesting to sort of watch yourself go through the stages of adding things to a page and seeing that actually perhaps to stop earlier next time. Essentially, I'm just not very good at minimal, and I'm probably boring everybody by saying this, but I just have this very irresistible urge to fill every single gap on the page. And I saw these white gaps around the numbers, so now I had to fill them in. So having faffed around on Etsy trying to find some original artwork, date sticker type things, and then just giving up and getting slightly grumpy about the whole thing, I decided to just paint in numbers for the empty months. So the whole of June was empty, so I figured I'd just have a go at painting numbers in, and no pressure, don't have to be fancy. I just used, what did I use? I think I used the Derwent Inktense for this page. Yes, that's why I'm showing you the tin. So I just did these like chunky letters, chunky numbers, using this one, which I think is fuchsia, and then used a paintbrush to sort of activate the outside edges, so the outside edge then sort of bled out onto the page as a sort of a light paint effect. And it works fine. Now, the reason I do, obviously the numbers are already on the page, aren't they? You actually have the numbers, the dates across the top, but I just like to use that gap, that lovely squarey shape at the top, to make a very large number. I think I just prefer the look of it, really, rather than having to search for the tiny date. You get a very obvious date right in your face. Also, it's just too tempting, all those little boxes to put something in there. So I'm just going to show you how I did it very briefly on the next page. So using the same Derwent pencil, I'm going to use a different colour for this page, I think. Which one do I pick up? I pick up, checking out my little swatch. So I swatched all the Inktense pencils on here so that I could see what colours they are. It's much easier than trying to remember and trying to guess from the end of the pencil. And you can do this and you can sort of hold it against your page and decide which colour looks better. So it looks like I chose greeny colours because there is that little bit of green on the page to sort of bring out. So I've got leaf green and teal green. So the first step is to draw the outline of the numbers with the one colour. So they don't have to be beautifully drawn numbers, they can just be any old which way. I'm making them quite chunky because I want to have quite a bit of the paper colour showing through. So the thicker the number is, the more paper will show through. And then I'm just going around them again with the more of the grassy green colour. I guess this must be the leaf green. Just to kind of give a mix of colours, just to mix things up a bit and make things more interesting. I guess that teal is a little bit too tealy for me, a little bit too pastel. So I'm bringing in the sort of more earthy tone because that's, I suppose, more my kind of thing at the moment. And now for the most satisfying part, which is to add the water. So I'm sort of wetting all the area around the number first before I then go in and activate the actual pencil. And then it sort of bleeds out into the water that I've already put on the page and makes it nice and smooth. And this is so relaxing, seriously relaxing to do. I would definitely do these numbers again. They're very basic, they're very sort of simple to do, but they're actually just very relaxing to do on the page, essentially. And it's nice the way the water picks out the different tones of green fairly randomly as you're doing it. So you'll suddenly get a little bit of the different green come out as you're going past it with your paintbrush. So off camera I did another page of those numbers using a sort of a brown ochre colour. Not quite so effective as the darker colours, but it was still fine. And then on this page I decided to use my Caran d'Ache Neocolour 2s again, just to change things up really. So I've stopped using the Inktense and I'm now going to use this dark indigo Caran d'Ache Neocolour 2 again to do, so basically the same thing, exactly the same thing, do chunky outline numbers and then water activate the edges. So this time, rather than going around all the edges with a secondary colour, I decided to do sort of dashes around the edge just to see what effect that has. So I'm sort of doing blobs of this much lighter colour here, so that when I activate it with water, I'm hoping that you sort of get patches of the brighter colour rather than it sort of being uniform all the way around the numbers. So this is what it looks like when it's done. So you can see it's just like blobs of that lighter blue around the numbers. And let's see what it looks like when I add the water. So if you're short on stickers, short on date stickers, short on time, and you have some sort of water activated colouring pencil, have a go at this because it's quite straightforward and very, very relaxing and fun to do, and I think it looks really cute as well. Probably next time, rather than having a dark line and then little blobs of the lighter colour, I should probably reverse that, do a sort of a lighter line around the numbers and then have blobs of the dark, because obviously the dark is usually going to be more of an overpowering colour, and I don't quite see quite so much of that light blue colour coming through. But overall, I think it's a really lovely effect, and it sort of adds to my glowing page, my neon glowing page. This is actually the last page in this diary, and it is probably one of the most random ones, but I kind of like it just for that reason, really. So just to show you here that after I did that blue along the top, I wanted to bring some blue in down on the page a bit more. So when I'd done my background colour, I'd mostly used sort of pinks and yellows. But because I had the blue numbers across the top, I thought I'd add those same crayon colours down below and just do these little, pops of colour all over the page to sort of tie it all in together. So with all my dates now in, I'll just show you what they all look like. So I kind of like the fuzzy, blobby nature of these numbers. I think they're pretty cute. And they're definitely readable, they're so huge. I've got my sort of ochre version here, the greens. Kind of don't really like what I did to those blue ones. Really, really wish I'd left them just as circular blue, but I'll live with it. So let me know what you do with date stickers. Let me know any suggestions you have for creators that make them, or any videos that you know of sharing ideas for date stickers, and let me know how you get on if you are following along. Thanks for watching. Bye!